Setting low on a hometown track, dust rolling up like a freight train stack. Cooler in the bed of a beat-up Ford. Crowds getting loud cause they know what's in store. Engines rumbling like a southeast storm. Another wild night where new legends are born. Grab your hat, grab your girl, feel that grandstand shake. Everybody knows this ain't no small town state. Cause we're full throttle Thursday night at Ellen, big bright lights, rubbing goals, riding high, leading hard through every fight. From the backstretch to turn forward, fans holler for more and more. Ain't nothing beats that heartbeat racing. Yeah, this is iNRS racing.
All right, everyone, welcome to Thursday night, and we are, you guessed it, with the iNRS Cup Series at Indianapolis Motor Speedway for the Brickyard 200 here on the IWM Broadcast Network. I'm Rick Souza, here in the booth with Jeff Needy. And Jeff, man, this is just a classic track.
It really is. You and I were talking a little bit before we came on air. This is one of my favorites, having lived in Indianapolis for several years and spending quite a bit of time at the track. That I just love coming back and driving this track, and tonight getting to broadcast this race. So I think we're in for a wild evening after watching some of practice.
We've got nearly 30 drivers tonight that will start tonight, and they are definitely taking advantage of the practice. They can do what they can as we wind down here. Just 9 seconds left before we go into qualifying.
You see some of these guys during practice that really push the limit to, in the simulator racing, you don't have to worry about replacing your car or what it's going to cost. You just hit the escape button and you're back. But these guys have been pushing and pushing and pushing, trying to figure out where the line is that they do not want to cross.
Well, tonight we've got, right now we've just finished with practice. We're moving on to qualifying here. They'll have 2 laps. These drivers will qualify here. We'll talk about, well, let's get right to what the race is tonight.
Well, there you see the Indianapolis Motor Speedway stock car oval map right there. Very, very symmetrical track. Even though those corners look identical, they're not quite, but there's a little bit of a difference in each one of them. Sometimes the wind will come into play. Tonight doesn't seem to be too bad, 10 mile an hour. Air temp is 74, the track temp 93. They have 6 sets of tires tonight, plus the set that's on there. No fast repairs in this league. There's a staged break at lap 26. And the fuel limit tonight, 75%, Rick.
Yeah, so that will put that window, based on our early calculations, and we try to be as accurate as we can, somewhere between laps 22 and 26, which should make it fairly challenging for that stage break if no yellows come out.
Yeah, you'll see some guys that want to what they call flip the stage, where they will come in and pit shortly before the stage ends to try to get a better starting spot in that second stage. Some guys, though, are going to try to save fuel and make it the entire way through on that first stage. It'll be interesting to see who does what tonight.
Well, we've got definitely there's going to be keys to tonight's race, Jeff. Why don't you take us through some of those?
Yeah, the first key tonight, Indy rewards smooth driving. You have got to be careful on the throttle coming off of these corners, especially off of 2 and 4. 4, especially when you come off of turn 4, it feels like that wall comes out to get you. And if you get into the gas too early or too quickly, it's going to push your car out to that outside safer barrier. And that is not a position you want to be in.
Well, the other thing that they'll definitely have to work on is tire wear here. We'll see how much that comes into play. It's not like your normal super speedway because these turns are relatively flat. We will see some tire wear, and that will affect these drivers, especially over the long run.
And the third key tonight, consistency. You have got to be consistent. You've got to run good laps all night long. You don't have to run great laps part of the time and poor laps some of the time. You want to be running consistent laps all night long, trying to improve your car as you go, trying to pick a better line, hoping the track comes to you, but you want to be consistent, and that is going to get you up in a position to be able to win this race.
We've got 80 laps tonight here at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. We do exactly 50% of what they will run on Sunday, but this does give you a little bit of a taste of what the see on Sunday without any weather.
That's one of the things I love about this league is that they run the race, run the track a couple days before we get to watch it on TV. So by doing this, it's like a little sneak preview, and we get to see some of what the Cup drivers are going to face on Sunday. We get to see here on Thursday night.
All right, qualifying is coming to a close. Another minute or so. That will wind up. We're currently looking at, this is Scott Thomas, currently putting up a decent time. Let's see who else is on track.
Times tonight are running just under 52 seconds for most of the guys, just over 52 for others. But compare that to last week when we were running 18-second laps. So
yeah,
or 16-second laps sometimes. It's a big difference tonight, but this track's 2.5 miles and very flat, but very, very fast.
All right, just a couple drivers left to get their qualifying in here. Again, it's 2.5 miles around. You see that the time to get around is nearly a full minute. And with just 10 seconds left, if you didn't qualify, start the back. All right, so with qualifying about to wind down here, the drivers will move from the cars into a driver's meeting. And once that driver's meeting is complete in about 5 minutes, we will move on to the starting grid. So let's kind of take a peek at where we are in the points as of today.
There you see Jordan Wetzel at the top of the points with 768. He's got 4 wins. He's followed really closely by Lucas Gortman. These guys have been battling all season. Lucas Gortman only 22 points out. He has 3 wins. Keenan Shoddy is in third, 166 back. Jacob Musso is fourth, 174 back. And we talked quite a bit last week about Eric Lombard. in fifth. He's got 5 wins. He leads the league in wins this year, but he had computer problems, kept him out of several races, and so that pushed him back in the points, and he is slowly but surely fighting his way back up to the top. Made it into the top 5 last week, and trying to get up another position or 2 this week. We'll see how that works out for him.
Yeah, we just added the number of starts for the year so far. You can see that number 5, LeBombard, go to the last column. He's only had 16 starts, where everybody in front of him had 20 for Wenzel and 21 for Gorban, Shadi, and Musso. So he is 4 to 5 races behind everybody else, but still winds up there in the top 5. Going all the way to the opposite end at the cut line, Vince Burns is there. But Kai Collmore is right there. Kai's already had a win, but he's just 1 point out of the race right there. He's got to get in here. He's only had 15 starts this year, so he's got to get consistent as we make our way towards the end of this season with just four races to go. He's got to be consistent, got to drive well, be there, and he'll be able to break back into that top 16.
Down there, about 75, 78 points back of Kai Collingwood.
Yeah, I can't hear you, Jeff. Lost you. Yep, your volume's way down. I can't barely hear you. All right, so right now that's it for the points. Let's look quickly at the schedule here. So right now we are sitting there the 23rd of July. Next week, we're off, as is NASCAR. We'll bring you on Wednesday nights the IWM All-Star race. It got moved to this coming week, but all in all, NASCAR has next week off, and we'll be off next Thursday. But when we return, we'll be at Iowa, and then Richmond, New Hampshire, and then Daytona as we charge towards the chase. Yep, you're super low volume-wise. I'll try to see if we can put some gain on it here.
I don't understand what happened there.
Yep, I don't have any control over you. It's not, can't bring you up.
Did that help at all?
Oh, that's everything right there. Welcome back.
Oh, wow. That is so weird. I don't know why I lost volume, but now it's back.
You're back. All right, so we've got just about a minute and 15 seconds left before we go back to we'll actually get this race kicked off. But so far it's been a pretty amazing season. We've had some great battles here. We've seen just some great driving from some of these drivers and great finishes. I mean, I thoroughly enjoyed last week's race at North Wilkesboro.
Oh, that was so much fun to broadcast. That was a very entertaining race, very exciting. Lot of back and forth. We didn't know, people would go to the front and then fall back, go back to the front. It was just, there was good racing. I think one of the things I liked best, there was good racing through the entire field. There was good racing up front, good racing mid-pack, and even some good racing towards the back of the field. Guys really trying to work their way up. So very, very entertaining.
Absolutely, yeah. It's great to see Joe Musso get the pole, and then obviously Eric Lombard battling back to get the win.
Yeah, and that's that gives him that 5th win that we saw in the points battle, which is doing quite a bit. And we see the preliminary numbers for qualifying, and it looks like he had a very good qualifying night as well.
All right, that's pretty much wound up. Okay, so I think we're about to go racing. As soon as the drivers get in their cars, I'll bring that grid to you. I think they are. There we go. Grids are up, and that's right. Let's bring in the grid.
And And there you see it, row 1, Eric Lombard Jr. on the pole tonight, trying to pick up where he left off last week. Alongside him, Keenan Shoddy, who was fast last week as well. Row 2, Edward Shearer and Kai Collymore. You heard us talk a little bit about him. Coming up here in row 3, we've got Steve Tucker and Jordan Wenzel. Row 4 is Dakota Reeder and Lucas Gortman. And in row 5, we see Grady Gherkin and Jake Musso.
All right, starting in row 6, you've got Corey Bunch and Alex Daffin. Row 7, you've got Brian Jones and Tyler Lem. Row 8, Matt Parasiti and Corey Ennis. Row 9 is Eddie Musso Jr. and Garrett Walden. And in row 10, Josh Douglas and Tony Japs.
Here in row 11, we've got Joe Torres and Austin Walton. Row 12.
Row 12.
Row 12. There we go. Scott Thomas and Joe Musso. Row 13, Matthew Wheeler, Vince Burns. Row 14 is Mike Wheel, Jeff Ramsdale. And row 15, all by his lonesome, Keith Fonseca, bringing up the position 29.
And that's it for the grid.
That is it.
All right, so we've got our first stage here again at lap 28. Well, it's our only stage, but our stage at lap 26. Again, this is a 2.5-mile oval, so, you know, kind of like, think of it as a super speedway, only flat.
Very, very flat. And boy, you feel it when you're driving one of these cars into the corner. It's a leap of faith. You're going in there, you don't have that banking to hold you in place. That car just really wants to rip the steering wheel out of your hand and push to that outside wall, and that's the last thing you want to see happen.
All right.
The short chutes in between 1 and 2 and again between 3 and 4 are pretty exciting. It's just a little bit of a breather,
It's like
and then you're back into it.
Track temp has gone up a little bit. It's now, track temp is 100 degrees as we start this race. Drivers making their way into the restart zone. And we're underway here at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway in the Brickyard 200 for the iNRS Racing Series. Erica Bombard out there up front. Takes an inside line. These drivers have got to get some heat in these tires. Caution is already out for an incident with Brian Jones and Jeff Ramsdale. See what happened. You can see the damage on the right rear of that 4 car. In fact, I think he's kind of crabbing back a little bit. He may have, let's see if we got any more details on that. No meatball flag, but he may have some damage. Jeff Ramsdale does not look too bad, but let's try to see just what happened here. Oh, hang on. There's it. So it looks like the 46 actually.
Yeah, he got loose.
Oh, okay. So not the 25 kind of came down and unfortunately dropped him down to the apron. Number of cars going high, that caused the 4 to go around. Wasn't just a couple drivers involved here. It looks like the 27 Corey Bunch, heavy damage as well. Number of drivers spinning. See the 97 of Jeff Ramsdale going around, but not a lot of guys involved in this early incident.
Yeah, that's going to hurt Brian Jones too, because this track, your speeds are so high and the straightaway is so long. If your aero package is damaged in any way, it's going to affect the handling and especially going to affect the speed of that race car.
Yeah, you see the nose of the 27, a lot of damage on the 27. He's got some significant damage there for aero. I'm sure he's going to come in as he is now just to take stock of just what's damaged on that car.
I think you'll see some of the guys at the back of the field just top off their fuel as well.
That'd be a good. Yeah, they did not come in, but you would think.
Well, I would have taken advantage of that if I was back like in position 20 or further.
Yeah, some of these guys may think they can figure out they can stretch it, so you never know. Not willing to give up track position at this early stage. But for Jones, Ennis, Ramsdale, and Fonseca, definitely potentially some concerns.
Yes. Yeah. Jeff Ramsdale is he's back out on the track already. The other guys are all still in the pits. Jeff Ramsdale maybe took 2 tires, maybe.
So one of the things within iRacing is that when you do pull on pit road after there's been an incident, it'll tell you just if there's damage and how long it would take to fix that damage. Sometimes it's just a few seconds, and maybe that's what Jeff took advantage of. He really didn't have too much of a collision. He was just there. And this track is so long. I'll bring up that track map here. You can see this, just like a lot of other super speedways or long speedways, if you've got some repairs to be made, you've got some time. If you want to get out and not go a lap down per se. So already Keith Fonseca is back on the track. Brian Jones is headed out before the field is going to pass them in the pit, so he doesn't go a lap down. The only driver who's still on pit road is the 27 of Corey Ennis. Mike Wheel did pop in now. He pulled into pit road. He may be using that opportunity to top off his fuel as well.
Yeah, I remember we were talking in qualifying. They were running like 52-second laps. Here we are under caution flag, and some of these lap times are 2 minutes and almost 10 seconds. So quite a bit slower, which if you've got damage on your car, you love that because like Rick mentioned earlier, it gives you more time in the pits that you can stay in there, get more work done on your car, and then get back out and get caught up before the restart.
Yeah, I mean, if you legitimately have a minute or so of damage, you can easily get that repaired. And frankly, if you're okay with going a lap down, knowing that there's going to be at least one stage break, if you're the only car a lap down, you'll get it back up with the lucky dog.
Yep. Yeah, right now Corey Ennis is our only car a lap down, it looks like. He's in the pits again. That was that number 27 car that we saw that had so much rear end damage. So he's trying to get that fender beat back out to at least give him close to what he had before.
I do show that Mike Wheel got a black flag. He may have gotten caught speeding on pit road. That's all I can think of. He'll have to serve that under green.
That's going to hurt too because that's a long pit road.
Yep, absolutely. All right, so the lights are off on the pace car as we try to get this race back underway. Field making its way out of turn 4. The pace car will drop off and put this restart in the hands of Eric Lombard. All right, green flag flies. We're back underway here at Indy. Eric Lombard takes that high. Yeah, absolutely. Watching behind it, got Keenan Shoddy, Edward Shearer. And just behind them, the 39 of Kai Collmore and Steve Tucker there. Still door to door right here with the 25 of Musso. He's right there with Tyler Lemon, the 99. Got Matt Parasini right behind him. I keep seeing that paint scheme that the 99 is running, and all I can it's give me flashbacks.
That target. At
Yeah,
turn one, the drivers just came through. Once you get up to full speed, turn one can be a little tricky. Some guys can go through there wide open, but some guys can't. And if they try, it doesn't have a good outcome. They end up making contact with either somebody or the wall. So maybe it's just a glancing blow. You can take a little harder knock in these cars than you can in the Indy cars that race in the Indianapolis 500. But you still don't want to be hitting that wall at 190 miles an hour.
See, I thought you'd pick up what I was talking about with that target car with Juan Pablo Montoya.
Yeah.
If you haven't seen that incident, go ahead and Google that. Juan Pablo was not, I think he wasn't paying attention, but he wound up under wet conditions running right into the back of the track dryer, caused a huge mess.
Oh, yeah. Nasty.
Yep, that was way back in the 2012 Daytona 500. Pretty much caught the whole track on fire. It was a disaster. Yeah. Hits the jet dryer and all that jet fuel spilled out.
Oh my, it was a mess. Well, Eric Lombard, he's not making a mess of it. He's still running up front. Our pole sitter's still in the lead. Has the fastest lap so far. His fastest lap was 52.075. That's very, very quick. So great job
caution.
by Eric Lombard so far. Oops, here we go.
Like Keith Fonseca went for a little trip in the grass. Possibly Scott Thomas also involved.
Yeah, Keith Fonseca headed for pit road. Just as Mike Wheels coming out of the pits. Ooh.
It's like he got a little loose, and then unfortunately Scott Thomas wound up being a victim of circumstance there. Let's back that
Yeah.
up.
Wrong place at the wrong time.
Watching that Twisted T61 right there. Just gets a little out of shape, and all it takes is that minor correction, and then right into the wall. No safer barrier there, and yep, that's the end of the 61. I don't show a meatball for the 61, but we'll see.
Yeah, this track is notorious for if you get loose, if you overcorrect just slightly, chances are good that you're going to just spin and head on into the wall. Fortunately for him, it wasn't a direct head-on hit, or his race probably would have been done. But very, very dangerous track to get loose on.
Yeah, their safer barriers are a little bit different here, it appears, than what we typically see on Sunday.
Yeah. Yeah, you can see on that inside wall there, protecting pit lane from the track. There's no safer barrier there.
Oh.
And quite a bit of the outside wall on the straightaway, there's no safer barrier.
All right, so the 79 of Scott Thomas makes his way out to the pits, as does Tony Japs and Keith Fonseca. Grady Gherkin came on and is spending some time here. It's like getting a 4-tire stop here. One thing you will notice is that the times on pit road, at least for a regular box stop here in your stall, is way faster than what it has been. NASCAR and iRacing adjusted the time spent here to more accurately represent what happens on Sunday. So whereas they were using the old time with the 5 lug nuts of about 14, 15 seconds per pit stop, but ever since NASCAR moved to that single lug, those times have come down dramatically. In fact, I think I saw some Gibbs pit stops that were just under 9 seconds. So they made an adjustment in iRacing to reflect that the 4-tire stop is somewhere in the 10-second range now.
Yeah, that's amazingly fast. Looks like we have 3 guys still in the pits. Scott Thomas, Keith Fonseca, and Corey Ennis in there for some extended repair work, it looks like.
Yeah, they'll get up to some pretty fast speeds here in contact with the safer barrier, even though it's there to help them. It's going to do some damage.
Now you can see there the whole straightaway. Doesn't look like there's a safer barrier until you get down to the entry to turn 1. Yeah, that's a great shot of it there. You can see solid concrete walls on both sides.
All right, the lights are off on the pace car, which means that lap 12 will get this back underway. We thank you all for tuning in live to the IWM broadcast of this event tonight. We appreciate all of those of you who have liked and subscribed to our channel. We certainly do appreciate you.
This league races every Thursday night along the same schedule as the Cup Series. They run on the same track as Cup runs on Sunday. They run the prior Thursday. So tonight we're here at Indianapolis Motor Speedway. This coming Sunday, the Cup Series cars will be running on the track in Indianapolis. But really good job by these guys all season long. It's been good racing, for the most part, clean racing. We've had a couple nights where maybe too many cautions, but still some great sim racing here in the iNRS series.
All right, drivers are making it out of turn 3 and on to turn 4. Some of those drivers who had gone in for some repairs, the 27 and the 79, are chasing the pack, so they'll get back right as we take the green flag. Only car still remaining on pit road is the 61 of Keith Fonseca. He's been in there over 5 minutes getting some repairs made. All right, pace car drops off as the field, and Erica Bombard takes them into the restart zone. And we're back underway here in Indianapolis. Just as he did before, Eric moves up to that high line a little bit at the start and then drives back down, and that has worked out for him all night so far.
He's got a really good line that he's driving through there. He'll drift out wide because there's nobody outside him, and then he's able to break down to hit that first apex right down at the bottom of the track, and then as he goes through the short chute and comes back out the next corner, he lets it drift back up to the wall. You can see it right here, and gets the best speed because he can keep his momentum up. And what happens is he's not slowing down as much as some of the other cars behind him have to, and that allows him to keep that momentum up, keep his speed up, and cut time off of his lap time, and that's one of the reasons why he still has our fastest lap of the race.
Yeah, clean air rules for sure here at Indianapolis. Looking back in the field, this is looking back, you see Tyro Lem in the 99. The competition here, battles going deeper in the pack. See that target car pull out low, out of that line. Got a long single file for a lot of this field so far. Super close for the 25, gets right there on the bumper of the 99.
Yeah, that's some really close racing going through these turns. You take a look up at the track map up there in the top right corner of your screen, you see that this track is unique in the fact that when you get into, like the cars are going into turn 1 right now, there's what they call the short chute. There's an actual straightaway between the turns, where on most tracks, that turn 1 and turn 2 is just one big long turn. So very, very different handling here at Indianapolis because of that. You have 4 distinct corners with a short straightaway on each end of the track, and that makes the handling so important at this speedway. Cars staying pretty much bunched up here still, but pretty much single line racing or single file racing. Come down the front stretch here into turn 1. You see guys taking different lines a little bit. You probably don't want to be right behind that car in front of you. As you come through the corner, the aero has a tendency to play havoc on your handling, but and they'll get lined back up. You see 2 guys pull out there trying to get a run on the cars in front of them. You can get a little bit of a draft on this these straightaways, which is really nice. It helps. It's not super speedway racing. It's kind of a hybrid where you can draft part of the time, and then part of the time you're better off not being behind them. But lot of fun to drive this track.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's funny that NASCAR really only came out here and tested back in '92, but then they held that inaugural Brickyard 400 here in '94. That is, I say that, but that's 32 years ago.
Yeah,
Oh,
they were
God.
talking about that on the radio today, and when I heard that number, I thought that can't be right. Somebody made a mistake, but it really has.
It has, yeah. Hey, the kid that won it has gray hair now, so.
Yeah, and I can't speak for you, but I'm getting older, I think.
Yeah, time's definitely slipping by. But yeah, Jeff Gordon won the inaugural Brickyard 400 back in '94.
Yeah, very fitting for an Indianapolis boy, too.
Yeah.
That was, he lived in Indianapolis for quite a while.
Cup Series kind of left the oval for a while there back in 2020 and actually ran the road course here for a few years. But they came back in 24 a couple of years ago and said, okay, we're going to go back to the oval, especially since they adopted this new body style here with the Gen 7 car.
Yeah, it's nice to see them back on the oval again. Or yeah, the road course. I don't know. I was never a big fan of the Indy road course. I like the Charlotte and Daytona road courses much better. But they built the road course at this track for Formula One, and Formula One raced there for, I forget if it was 2 or 3 years. But I don't think they cared for it either, and they ended up leaving Indianapolis and picking up some other road courses here in the U.S.
Well, of course, we're seeing here watching a NASCAR race, but the tracks that Formula One runs here in the States are really interesting tracks.
Yeah, they really are. Cup cars, these guys run on, like you see, COTA, Circuit of the Americas is a great track that Formula One runs on, and the Cup cars run on. And it's always interesting to see the difference in speeds, the difference in handling, the different lines that they take as they make their way around those road courses. But this Brickyard, this big 2.5 mile oval, is very, very fun for me anyway. I love this track.
And looking back through the field now, back up front, you can see the delta that Eric Lombard has over Keenan Shoddy, 1.2 plus seconds advantage over second place Keenan Shoddy. Steve Tucker is right there in third with 8 laps to go. Edward Shearer is there in that Red Bull number 88, followed by Jordan Wenzel in the 81 behind, and then Lucas Gortman right there in P6.
Yeah, not a lot of passing taking place in this early stage. I think things will heat up a little bit. I think guys are taking their time. We talked earlier about consistency, and one of the things that will make your consistency go the wrong direction is if you start making weird moves, trying to do too much, trying to do more than what your car can do. And so I think you'll see these guys take it easy here this first stage, and then hopefully things will liven up a bit. In the second stage, we'll see a little more passing, especially as we get closer to the end of this race. You're going to see guys get more aggressive, maybe take a little more in the way of chances, and put themselves in position to make passes. Great onboard view there of Eric Lombard's 58 Chevrolet.
So he downshifted coming out of the front stretch from 5th to 4th. Stayed in
contact with the wall.
Yeah, a little wall contact there. Stayed in 4th gear all the way through 1 and turn 2, and then downshifted again here into going into turn 3. In the short chute, stays in 4th gear. Off the throttle a bit as he apexed that corner, and now back on the gas, heading for the start-finish line.
Well, you can see his tack is in the red most of the front stretch.
He's really letting it all hang out there. He knows that in just a few laps he's going to be going in for a stage break.
He tapped the wall again coming out of 2.
He is definitely increasing his time though. Oh, caution flies. Jeff Ramsdale, I think, is involved. 97 goes around. All right, so that brings out our third caution, which should be good for the 27 of Corey Ennis. He'll get a lap back. He is currently 4 laps back, so he'll be able to pick up 1.
Yeah, right now Corey Ennis doesn't want to see anybody else go a lap down, because the only other car not on the lead lap is Keith Fonseca, and he's 10 laps down. So if we get a few cautions here. Oh, did you see the 97 just lost it, didn't he?
Well, I think he got the left side of the car down below the below the stripe, and that's, like most tracks, there's a gradient change between the apron there and the racing surface, and unfortunately, you hook that on these cars, which are incredibly stiff. For different versions, the Gen 6 car and others, there's a lot more play in the suspension system. Not this Gen 7 car. It is rigid as can be, and by dropping that left side down on the apron will absolutely spin that car around.
Yeah, you hear the the drivers talk on Sundays about how this car can really beat you up if you're on a rough track.
Yeah, there's no given play. So, all right. So it looks like everybody is taking this opportunity with just 23 laps. They're just going to come in. We knew that it was going to be close on fuel, but this will be it. So the entire field makes its way onto pit road.
See these guys peeling off here, getting into their pit boxes. Most of these guys, it's going to be 4 tires and fill her up with gas. Yeah, Eric Lombard out with a 10.45 second pit stop. Some guys even faster. Here's Steve Tucker had a 10.28. Brian Jones had a 9.07.
I'm guessing he took 2 tires.
Yeah. Grady Gherkin, 6.83. Garrett Walden, 6.2. Trying to remember, those guys may have pitted earlier as well, but so they wouldn't have needed as if they took 2 tires and needed less fuel. It would explain shorter times there. But some really, really fast four-tire pit stops. Tony Japs, 10.10. That's, I think, the fastest one that I've seen so far.
Yep, that seems to be it. Grady Gherkin, 6. That's a fuel-only stop for that driver, as well as Garrett Walden. So you see the drivers who took 4 tires. We'll see what happens with Brian Jones. He was the only driver who took 2. All right, 24 laps complete here of the scheduled 80. Again, that stage is at 26. Which I think what's going to happen is we'll go back to racing at lap 26. I'm not sure if admins called that the stage, because when that caution flew, they'll know better than we do, but we'll find out at some point. But that would make sense that they pin that stage based on that finish order. All right, next time by, we'll get the 1 to go and get back to racing here at Indianapolis.
And it looks like the leaderboard coming back after this round of pit stops. You've got Eric Lombard up there, Steve Tucker, Keenan Shoddy, Edward Shear, Jordan Wenzel is in the 5th position, Lucas Gortman in 6th, Kai Collymore in 7th, Eric Daffin in 8th, Matt Parasini in 9th, and Tyler Lem. That rounds out your top 10. Some of the same names that we've been talking about, but got some guys that are working their way up. Jake Musso, they're in 11th. Brian Jones, we talked about him a little bit ago with that 2-tire pit stop. Brady Gherkin, Garrett Walden, Eddie Musso Jr., Dakota Reeder, Corey Bunch, Joe Musso, Austin Walton, Joe Torres, Mike Wheel, Tony Japs, Vince Burns, Josh Douglas, Scott Thomas. Matthew Wheeler and Jeff Ramsdale both in the pits.
Yeah.
Long pit stops trying to get work done on their car. Corey Ennis still, unfortunately he gained a lap back, but Scott Thomas lost the lap. And looks like Jeff Ramsdale lost the lap now too. So he's got those 2 guys plus Matthew Wheeler in front of him now. Scott Thomas be the guy looking for the lucky dog.
Yeah, a couple of drivers dropped back into the pits. That's Vince Burns and Corey Ennis. See the 10 and the 97 Jeff Ramsdell, they're out there racing back to catch up to the field. That's Matt Wheeler and Jeff Ramsdell, both with iRFK Racing. And from what I can tell, looks like that that Vince Burns and others use the opportunity to top off on fuel. They're playing the long game.
Smart time to do it. You never know when you're going to need that.
Yeah, once that stage is done, now these drivers know there's, 26 laps are complete. There's, 54 laps to go to end this race. They're going to have to make probably at least one more stop here before they'll fill up for their last stop of the day. And they'll settle down. They know that, again, it's the long game. They got to play it right. Here's a little interesting fact for you. Only 3 drivers in this year's field have ever won a Brickyard 400.
Wow.
Can chew on that for a bit. If anybody's listening that you want to chime in, give me those 3 winners. Play a little caution game.
I like it. That's one of the difficulties when you're broadcasting with these 2.5 mile caution laps.
Got to fill the airtime with something.
Yep. But Eric Lombard is filling his rearview mirror with the rest of the field.
Yep, out in front.
Jump again.
Steve Tucker right there, but Keenan Shoddy and Ed Shearer right there are battling a bit, and Jordan Wenzel right there. Kai Collmore is back there. Lucas Cortman and Alex Daffin are battling. So right now on these restarts, a lot of action happening all across this pack.
This is where you really see the cars when they're bunched up like that. You see them going too wide through these corners, and that can be nerve-wracking as a driver, but boy, it makes it exciting for us as fans. Everybody working to get their best line, but sometimes to keep the good line, you're going to lose momentum. So it's a little bit of back and forth on which is more important, the momentum or the line. Seeing that Kai Collmore that got that. Let's see, would that be Matt Parasini in his rear mirror?
Yeah, almost a thought there. Yeah, a little contact in the corner with the 6. That's not the place where you want to connect your bumpers on this track. The super speedways are much more convincing with a little bit of bump in a corner, but this track will send somebody right up into the wall, whether that's this Gen 7 car or Indy car or anybody on this track.
Yeah, there is so much inertia pressure on these cars in these flat corners. Like we were talking earlier, that just wants to rip the steering wheel out of your hand and send you straight into the wall. That car just does not want to turn left hard. You really have to make it turn. And these cars are on a fixed setup, so everybody's running identical setups on during this race. And but everybody's driving style is different. Some guys will lift a little earlier than others. Some guys a little later. So it's you've got to pick what's best for you and where you can get the most speed out of your car. And ironically, that's a little bit different for every driver.
Yeah, especially with this track, if you do get a good run, you've got to watch just where you are with that momentum.
Yeah, if you time your run too late, then you're hitting the peak right as you're entering the corner. And depending on where the guy is in front of you, he may not leave you a good option. And then you end up having to lift, and then you lose all that momentum. So it's a timing track in that regard. You really have to time your runs and be able to make that pass before the corner rather than right in the middle of the corner.
All right, 30 laps complete now. 50 laps to go here at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. So if you were thinking about that, if you're thinking about that question I posed, what 3 drivers on Sunday have ever won here at the Brickyard that are still active drivers? It's Brad Keselowski, Kyle Larson, and the defending champ, Bubba Wallace, each with 1 win.
All right. I think Larson was the only one I would have gotten right.
Well, and Bubba from last year.
Oh, yeah.
It'll be an interesting race on Sunday. I know Goodyear spent some time testing here. They've got new right side tires. We'll see how that plays out here. If you're going to watch the race on Sunday. Looking at the field, and looks like they're kind of stretched out pretty thin right now.
Yeah, they went in just a few laps, went from being very bunched up to pretty spread out. That's kind of amazing. Top 10 hasn't changed much. Eric Lombard Jr. still leading the way. I think he has led every lap of this race. Steve Tucker in second, Edward Shearer in third, Keenan Shoddy in fourth, Jordan Wenzel fifth. Those guys are followed by Alec Daffin, Lucas Gortman, Kai Collymore, Matt Parasini, and Brian Jones. And that makes up your top 10.
All right, solid racing here. As this field crosses the start-finish line, that's 47 laps to go, 34 complete, and really Eric Lombard's got a little bit of a gap between himself. Let's get that gap information here. He's got about just over a second, but at the same time, Steve Tucker and Ed Shearer are kind of just a little bit of competition there.
Yeah. It's funny, the cars seem to, one guy will distance himself, get over a second out there, and then there'll be a couple guys pretty tight, and then there'll be another gap, and then a few more guys pretty tight. But really, once you get past 8th or 9th position, I mean, everybody's less than half a second for the most part. So everybody running good lap times.
Yep, you can see from the track map that the field is kind of spread out, single file. Looking back, there's a little bit of a gaggle back here as these guys are battling. This is Dakota Reeder, Joe Torres, Austin Walton back here, and Corey Bunch.
Eric Lombard Jr. a few laps ago reset the fastest lap of the race. And boy, he jumped several tenths. He was 52.1 or 0.2 before. Now he's 51.6. So jumped at least 5 tenths, at least half a second. That's a fast lap.
Yep, absolutely. Eric Lombard's out in front all by himself. He's got clean air, turning laps without any help. No one behind him. 52.36. Steve Tucker's last time by was a 52.16. So that was a great lap for the zero.
You'll see as they come out of this next turn, the safer barrier gets a little wider right there on the entrance, and then it does the same thing on the exit. Couldn't see it on that camera angle, but watch for that. So there's a little bit of extra, you see it right there, a little bit of extra distance on the exit of that turn, and then it tapers back into the solid concrete wall. That's where you see these guys making a lot of contact. So as they're coming off the corner, they're inching up to that outside wall. You can see it in that angle, and they just sometimes will just scrape that right side of the car as they're coming through.
A little bit of haze out there today as we watch this race. Let's see if we can bring up some.
Got it down there.
Temperatures cooled off on track, almost about 10 degrees. It's down to 91, kind of where we were in practice. Definitely cooled off, but the humidity, that's probably why we're seeing such crazy haze. Humidity is 92%. If you're in the Indianapolis area and your air temp is in the 70s, but the humidity is 92, it's going to be quite muggy.
Yes.
We're feeling that now here in the broadcast trailer back in our Charlotte studios. We have had a monsoon roll through here for the last 24 hours. So.
Yeah, very fortunate to be on the air. Sometimes when that weather comes through, it'll make broadcasting these races nearly impossible. But thankful to be able to do it tonight.
Well, the field's basically about single file here. We're going to take this opportunity, since we're in single file, let's bring up some information about these drivers. We'll just kind of roll back through the field here. So you got Steve Tucker here. Erica Bombard right there leading the race. Dropping behind him, you got Steve Tucker from Boston, Massachusetts. In third, Eric Shearer from East Durham, New York. Behind him, Keenan Shoddy from Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania.
Hey, I knew I liked something about Keenan Shoddy.
Jordan Wenzel, not sure where his hometown is, but he's currently showing in 5th. Alex Daffin is in 6th. Gretna, Virginia, Lucas Corbin in 7th. Kai Collmore in Indianapolis, he's in South Bend. He's an Indiana boy. Brian Jones currently in 9th. Jake Musso, Cato, New York, small town in the upstate. Matt Parasini, Stony Plain, is in Alberta.
Yeah, Canadian boy tonight with us.
Grady Gherkin from Grand Rapids, Michigan in 12th. Garrett Walden from Hendersonville, North Carolina. That's right at the base of the mountains here, western North Carolina. Joe Torres in Garland, Texas. Dakota Reeder currently in 15th. Austin Walton, he's from Kentucky. Corey Bunch, I'm going to butcher that. What do you think? La Follette?
I think it's La Follette, Tennessee.
Joe Musso, also from Cato, New York. As is Eddie. All 3 Musso drivers from upstate New York. Mike Wheel from Nashville, Tennessee. And Tyrell Lem out on the coast at Virginia Beach, Virginia. Tony Japs, you know, there's so many states. I'm going to assume that's Lexington, Kentucky, but it also could be Lexington, North Carolina. Vince Burns, Sacramento, California. Josh Douglas, small town of King, New York. Not New York, North Carolina, right here in the Carolinas. Jeff Ramsdell, Worcester, Massachusetts. That's Western Massachusetts. Scott Thomas, also from King, North Carolina. Corey Ennis up in Syracuse, New York. Keith Fonseca, Alta Vista, Virginia. I've not ever heard of Alta Vista, Virginia.
I haven't either.
And Matt Wheeler, West Palm Beach, Florida. That is our field. Fortunately, Matt has retired from the event tonight. That brings us right back to Erica Bombard, your leader here. 43 laps complete, just past the halfway point. And he continues to lead here. Let's bring up our leaders. Well, there's only been one. Erica Bombard has found himself on the pole and has led every lap here in Indianapolis. But at some point, these guys are going to have to come in for fuel.
Yeah, and it probably won't be too long, probably another 10 laps or so. They'll be making their way to pit road, trying to top off that gas, get every ounce they can so they've got enough to make it to the end and hopefully enough for a green-white checker should we need one. You can see the 58 car there, American Bombard. He's down under a quarter, not quite down to an eighth yet, but they'll be coming in. It'd be interesting to see when those pit stops will start.
So based on our math, Eric came in on lap 23, got his fuel based on our best guess with 26 laps. That says lap 49. That's about 4 laps from now. And we're thinking there's only 26 laps of fuel in the tank, but these guys have been masterful savers. We've seen them do that, and I wouldn't be surprised if we jump on board with Eric. He's trying to save fuel because he thinks he can do it with one more stop.
Yeah, you can see, remember when we watched him earlier, his in-car, he was shifting. He was downshifting to fourth in the corners. Well, now he's running fifth gear the whole way around the track and not running quite full throttle. See he's running maybe 3/4 through the corners there. Let's see how he gets on the front stretch here. He takes it up a little bit, but still just a little over 3/4 throttle. Gets close to full throttle right at the end, and then he'll lift as he goes into turn one.
Yeah, at some point he's now coming completely out of the throttle. He hasn't. He's not clutching it per se, but he's definitely doing what he can to save fuel. He doesn't have that to go back out of this and get the tower back up. He's got just under a second, so doesn't like a whole lot of time. You know, less than 1 second gap between himself and Steve Tucker.
And still running really good lap times. His last lap was a 52.4. So still very good lap times, but Steve Tucker behind him, his last lap time was 52.26. So about a little over a 1/10 quicker. And then this lap time, last lap, they just crossed the start-finish line again. That lap was almost identical.
Yeah, Tucker's not shifting anymore either. I think these guys have realized that they have got to save some fuel, because if not, they're going to wind up needing to go in 2 more times.
Yeah.
But as you can see,
don't want to do that.
Now our math could be incorrect. It's certainly possible that you know, our best telemetry information says that we should see Erica Bombard in sometime around lap 50, which is in 3 laps. We'll see
But you
what
see
we
on
see.
this graphic shows Steve Tucker's in the red on his fuel, and Eric Lombard wasn't quite there yet. So looks like Eric's been.
Yeah, they're
Oh,
about
now he is. Now
yeah,
he
they're
is.
about the same. Yeah.
Yeah, it's amazing how these guys just have that ability to run right where they need to run. You think race car drivers are running full tilt the entire race, and they're not. They're choosing when to run hard and when to take it easy, either to save fuel or to save tires.
Yep.
But it's just an amazing way that the human mind can work, because while they're driving at roughly 190 miles an hour, 195, they're also doing math in their head. They're trying to figure out, they've got a little bit of help in the car on how many laps they can make it on fuel, but they've got to try to start conserving early, depending on how much they need to save. And it's just a lot of things to think about. You're trying to keep track of what your car's doing. You're trying to keep track of what other people are doing to see what kind of strategy they're on, so you can plan your strategy to counter that. So it's a lot of interesting mind games that go on during one of these races.
So right now, just keeping track with our top 5 in the points. Jordan Wenzel is leading the points. He's currently sitting back in P5. Lucas Gortman in second is in 7th. Keenan Shoddy is in 3rd in the points. He's back in P4. Eddie Musso is 4th in the points, and he's in P8. And your leader, Eric Bombard Jr., is in 5th, but he is leading this race.
Yeah, that could take him up a spot or two if he's able to pull off this win.
Yeah, he should pick up those 10 stage points. If you look back at the current standings, you know, Eric Bombard. Oh, caution flies. Let's to see what happened here. I think Garrett Walden involved in something. He's certainly slow right now on the track. Let's see what happened to Garrett Walden. Looks like he blinked for a second there and got out of shape.
Yeah. Yep. Locks it down so he doesn't go back up across the path of those cars on the outside there.
Yep, but that brought out the caution because he stopped on the track. Caution flew, which is probably good timing for these drivers.
Yeah.
We're probably going to expect to see everybody come down onto pit road.
At this point, 29 laps to go, so probably by the time they get fuel, 27 or 28 laps to go. They'll have a couple caution laps there.
Yeah, I mean, this could be the last stop of the night.
Yeah, it could, but I think they're gonna have to continue to work at saving some fuel.
All right. Again, thank you for tuning in to the IWM broadcast of the iNRS Racing Series. Again, if you haven't already, click that subscribe button. We'd love to have you as part of our broadcast family.
97 of Jeff Ramsdale getting ready to get his lap back. He'll be the lucky dog, and he's ahead of the pace car now. Officially has his lap back. He'll pit on this next go around.
As the entire field, with the exception of those cars who are lapped down, make their way on the pit
Looks
road.
like most of them pitted anyway.
Yep, yeah.
one advantage of the long pit road here is these boxes are a little bit bigger. So a little easier getting in and out. Jeff Ramsdale makes it, comes out first.
Keenan Shoddy right there.
Oh, yeah.
Good move for the 45, takes over second. That moves Ed Shearer ahead and slips the zero of Steve Tucker back to fourth.
Yep. It's funny, our top three positions right now, Lombard, Shoddy, and Shearer, are in the exact positions they started in. So goes around, comes around, they're back to 1, 2, and 3.
Yeah.
Steve Tucker is in fourth. He's up one spot. Alec Daffin in fifth. He's up 7, but he's not our biggest mover so far. That title goes to Mike Wheel, who you remember had trouble earlier, but finds himself right now up 11 spots. So really good job by Mike Wheel to get back up there in that 96 car.
Yeah, he's currently sitting in 16th. He's picked up 11 spots.
Kai Collymore with an extended pit stop along with Scott Thomas. I didn't see anything happen to Kai. I'm not sure what.
Yeah, nothing, no flags, nothing there, but obviously he's there for a reason.
Yeah. Scott Thomas making his way out of the pits. Kai Collymore gets moving there. He's on his way out now, but man, that was almost a 2-minute pit stop.
Yeah, he stayed in as long as he possibly could with that field coming around, crossing that start-finish line, just enough for him to get all the way back around.
Yep.
Well, the lights are off on the pace car, which means we'll be going back to green next time by. We'll catch the green flag at lap 54. Which puts us with just 26 laps to go. Kind of like where we started with that first stage at lap 26.
Yeah, that's right. So we know they can make it on fuel. But boy, that for the guys that do, they do not want to see a green-white checker.
No, absolutely not. So we should see some late-stage fuel savings just to cover themselves. But it's going to be pretty much, this is the time you're going to make the move. There's not, this is a tough track to pass on. It's, you know, it's these corners make it challenging. So we'll see how this all plays out.
Yep. If you remember, we talked at the beginning, keys to the race, and the first one was Indy Rewards Smooth. And that's what you're seeing tonight. You're seeing drivers taking it smoothly. They're not doing anything radical. They're taking care of their stuff. They're taking care of their tires and watching their fuel mileage and just trying to be smooth. And the guys that do that are the guys that are going to be in contention.
All right, Erica Lombard leads the field to the green flag on this restart. Entering that restart zone, and we are back to green flag racing here in Indianapolis with Erica Lombard and Keenan Shoddy. Great jump by the 58. Moves up high. That puts Keenan and Ed Shearer door to door here. As this is your best chance here to gain positions here on this restart.
Eric Lombard's taking advantage of that good restart. Put a little bit of distance between he and Keenan Shoddy. Here you see the field pretty much backed up right at that point. Everybody's all bunched up, running fairly tight. Saw a white car back there that seemed to be going backwards.
Caution's out. A big spin by the 97, Jeff Ramsdale. Keith Fonseca also involved. He was involved in that earlier incident. And also Kai Collymore, I think, also involved as well.
Yeah, Kai is in the pits again.
I think he was so damaged he just towed there. Let's try to see what we can see here. Watching the 61. Oh, car slowing on the inside.
Yeah.
Hang on 1 second. Let's back that up just a little bit.
79. That's Scott Thomas.
No, it was a lighter blue car
Oh, was it? Okay.
to the inside of that's that Walmart car.
Yep.
Is that Garrett
Something
Walden? 43
could be.
or 47?
Looks like a 3, but
We,
it's hard to tell if that.
yeah, that's
43.
the 43 of Garrett Walden. He slowed down. That caused the 39 to make an evasive maneuver.
Boy, right into that outside wall.
Right in front of the 21. Kai Collmore, big hit. His night is done. And the 61 then tags him. Major damage there.
That's going to be going to have possibly some motor damage after that.
And you see there's a contact that happens with Jeff Ramsdell here as he comes. The 61's going around, and then he gets a little piece of the 61 and winds up cutting through the grass. Not terrible for the 97, but man, the 61 has got some major damage. All right. Well, that has changed in our guess the complexion of this race. That caution here at lap 56 will fuel is kind of out the window at this point. That's not really even a consideration.
Yep. Yeah, you got to feel bad there for that 97 of Jeff Ramsdell. He's got caught up in a couple things tonight. Not necessarily his own doing, just wrong place, wrong time.
Yep.
Sometimes your night just goes that way, but he's in the pits right now. Josh Douglas in the 21, we saw him get through there, it looked like, but he must have had some damage because he's been in the pits for over 2 minutes. Kai Collmore is back in there for almost 3 minutes now.
Yeah, I think Kai Collmore's night is done based on the damage that we saw. Just take a quick peek at that car. You can see there is some damage there. It does show he's got a meatball flag, so that's telling us from iRacing that the car is too damaged to continue unless repairs are made, and that's what his goal is, to see if he can make some repairs with just 24 laps to go.
Yeah, at this point, Kai Collmore's only 1 lap down, so if he can get back out there in the next few laps, he can salvage a couple positions.
All right. Well, the pace car leaves the field towards that start-finish line. He should take the 1 to go, and next time by, we'll get this race back underway. Definitely a lot of haze out there tonight on that track.
Yeah, it sure is. I love that shot showing the wall that separates. It's actually 2 walls that separates pit road from the racing surface. And back in the day in the IndyCar races, the guys with the pit boards used to sit out there in between those 2 walls. And that was probably not the safest thing to do at the time, but that's the way that they had to take the pit boards out there, and then somebody would relay a message to them what to show the driver, and then they would hold that board up as the driver came by. They didn't have the radios in the cars back then, and so it was really interesting, and it's fascinating to see the way racing has evolved with the technology that's available.
Yeah, that's a scary thought, to be out there only with yourself and some cinder blocks to protect you from a car at 200 miles an hour racing by you. All right, we're watching Eric Bombard leading this field around for the restart here with just 23 laps to go. We'll get started with 22 laps next time by. This is only our 5th caution of the night. Been some great racing so far. You know, the field's just been kind of strung out. It's kind of hard. This is a challenging track for these drivers. All right, pace car. Yep, pace car drops off. Yep, the 79 of Scott Thomas and I think Keith Fonseca are racing to try and catch back up to the field, but field catches that green flag first, and Bombard takes over door to door behind them, Shearer and Shoddy. As the field goes into turn 1 and 2, a little contact with the wall farther back in the field.
Yeah, and Shearer and Shoddy still fighting it out there for that second position. Those guys still running side by side, neither one giving an inch. And we're going to be an eyewitness to see what happens here. And there it is. Keenan Shoddy pulls ahead just by a hair over Edward Shearer.
It seems like once he gets by him, he jumps out to a 2 or 3 car length difference between them. And while all that, Eric Bombard picks up a half a second of gap to himself and the second place of Keenan Shoddy.
Yeah, that's a great example right there of how 2 cars racing side by side are slower than 2 cars either racing nose to tail or 1 car running by himself. When you get those 2 cars side by side, neither one of them can have the perfect line. They both have a good line for part of the corner and a bad line for part of the corner. So it pulled them backwards and let Eric Bombard get out to a pretty good half-second lead right now.
Get on back to the 02 of Corey Bunch. See just what the 02 shows. This is Corey Bunch here. He's got, he's got a car windshield full of the cars in front of him. You can see in the rearview mirror what he sees behind him. But for as wide as this track is, there's not the racing line's not very wide. No, it's not, and that's why we see so much single file racing tonight. It's you get. We saw it earlier on that restart. You get running side by side with somebody and it slows both cars down. So guys just don't want to run side by side. They want to run nose to tail and then try to get a run and not slingshot the way we used to see slingshots, but at least get some momentum to where he can get enough speed to get around that guy quickly and not have to sit there for a lap or 2 running side by side. Yeah, there's no real passing zones or a place where you can definitely take an advantage of. You're nearly running flat out in the front and back stretch, and you're off the fuel, off the gas. Oh, caution flies again.
20 laps to go.
And Mike Wheel involved here in the 96. See what happened with Mike that brought out this caution.
Oh, just lost it coming off the corner. Wow.
Back up on the racing surface is he's all good. No.
Just a tiny bit of contact there, so I don't think that'll do any damage. Ooh, that was close.
It was close. Always, you always wonder as these drivers are making their way around and getting back underway here as the cars are flying by underneath. But the 96 of Mike Wheel is underway. He may just come back in and swap some tires out if he's got them.
Yeah, he's back towards the end of the lead lap cars anyway. In fact, he may be the last car on the lead lap, so it wouldn't hurt him a bit to come in and get some tires.
Yep, well, the leader, Eric Lombard, is caught up to the pace car as his field is corralled by the pace car, and they get some in order. To the 97 of Jeff Ramsdell, who was one lap down. He'll pick up the lucky dog, and he'll get that lap back.
Yeah, very, very fortunate for him, because there was a little while ago he was 3 laps down and had a couple people in front of him. So he'd been able to work his way through pit stops or lucky dogs, been able to work his way back up. And this will put him on the lead lap again, right?
Absolutely. Number of drivers on pit road: Steve Tucker, Dakota Reeder, Vince Burns, Tony Japs, Garrett Walden, Joe Torres, Vince Burns, and Mike Wheel on pit road, along with Josh Douglas. It shows he's got a black flag. I'm not sure if that's the case. And Kai Kalmar. Both of those drivers have been on pit road for an extended period of time.
Yeah, the top 15 cars last pitted on lap 51. But again, like we talked during the last caution, probably not going to make any difference at all on fuel now. So they've got plenty of fuel to make it to the end. They'll be at a slight disadvantage on tires, but 26 laps here on a set of tires, as long as you're not abusing them, is not too bad.
Yeah, our calculations said they've got still over half a tank of fuel as these laps continue to tick away here under caution. We won't be going back to, I think there'll be 15 or so laps to go when we take the green flag again.
So you're right, plenty of fuel. And we've seen these guys, especially the guys that are running up front, be able to push their car so long on tires where other drivers wouldn't be able to come close to it, because they just haven't learned how to take care of their tires the way that some of these guys have. We saw that last week quite a bit. Guys really making longer runs than we thought anyway that they would be able to.
All right, lights are off on top of the pace car. Next time by, we'll take that green flag with just 15 laps to go.
There you can see your top 10 on the left side of your screen there. Eric Lombard, Keenan Shoddy, Edward Shearer, Jordan Wenzel, Alec Daffin, Brian Jones, Lucas Gortman, Grady Gherkin, Matt Parasini, and Jake Musso. That round out the top 10.
And how that translates to championship top 5. 5th place, Eric Lombard, currently leading. Jordan Wenzel, who's currently leading the points, he's back in P5. Lucas Corpin in 2nd, he's back in 7th. Keenan Shoddy, who's in 3rd, is now in 2nd position. Good for Keenan. And then in 4th is Jake Musso. He's back in P10. All the drivers who are currently leading the points are in the top 10.
So we might see a little bit of shifting in the points tonight, but no big jumps, I don't think.
No, I think
unless it's later in the field.
Yeah, the most unfortunate situation is Kai Kalmar, who really needed a good run tonight because he's right there on that bubble, to make it into the chase. But he's got plenty of races to try and make that happen. Indianapolis just was not his night.
No, Kai's still sitting in the pits, 15 minutes on this pit stop alongside Josh Douglas, who's been there for 14 and a half. So both of those guys not doing well right at the moment. Corey Ennis is another one. He's been in there 12 minutes. Scott Thomas has been in there, looks like 50 minutes. So, yeah, that's...
All right, back underway. Green flag flies. Eric Lombard takes that green flag. And really the race is what we're seeing behind. That's between Keenan Shoddy in the second place and third place positions, and Ed Shearer.
Yeah, there's some really good racing back just behind the leaders on these restarts. Guys will run too wide. You can see the first group is single file now, but the rest of the field's still too wide back there, trying to gain any spot that they can on these restarts.
All right, solid racing here, but that was Keenan Shoddy solidly in second place, Ed Shearer in third. A lot of action happening a little bit farther back. Let's drop back a bit here. See that battle with the 26 and the 43. That's Garrett Walden and Eddie Musso Jr. there battling. That's for 15th. They're door to door with the 43 and the 26. That's Steve Tucker. We saw him up at the the 26 goes wild.
Ooh, something that red guard blinking really
that's
bad.
Tyler Lemp.
Yep.
Does that bring out the caution? He's by himself. He backs off the track.
Yeah. So far staying green, but you got to get it straight. There he goes.
Green flag stays out. Not sure just what happened to Tyler. Guess he may have had a little help there. Let's just take a... I see there's a better shot that we can illustrate. It may just be what we've seen all night. Just got a little unsettled and out of shape. Did he have a little help?
Yeah, I couldn't tell if there was any. Didn't look like there was any contact, but he might have caught the...
Oh, yeah, he did.
Yeah, just a little bit. Doesn't take much. He's just coming off the corner, so the car's really unloading at that point.
Yep, the 9 caught the safer barrier, and unfortunately, that's Austin Walton. A little bit of contact with the 99.
Yeah, boy, the 99 just about had that saved, and then he gets into the grass, and then it's almost impossible to control at that point.
All right, 13 laps to go. Eric Lombard out in front. Keenan Shoddy in second. Ed Shearer in third. Jordan Wenzel in fourth. And Alex Daffin in fifth. A bit farther back, we're seeing these battles still continue here. See that Kane's car of Austin Walton there, so slightly involved in that last incident. And Steve Tucker there battling, as well as Jake Musso. See Grady Gherkin door to door with Steve Tucker. .43 of Garrett Walden there with the 3 of Joe Torres battling it out for position. As this race is winding down, every opportunity to gain a spot is points in the overall race results.
Yep.
But the most interesting factor tonight, right here, lap leader, has only been one.
Yeah, so far he's got the perfect race going. Pole position, fastest lap, and currently in the lead.
The only thing he won't get is the hard charger award. That right
Yeah.
now is that will go to Austin Walton right now, or Joe Musso. We'll see how it all shakes out at the end of the race. But he's got a lot of accolades here so far if he can continue with this pace with just 11 laps to go.
Yeah, and you know, when you were talking about those cars battling for every position back mid-pack, every point matters. We talked about it at the beginning of the race. Vince Burns and Kai Collymore battling over that last spot in the playoffs, and they're separated by 1 point going into tonight's race. Now, tonight, Vince Burns is having a little bit better run than Kai Collymore, but Vince is running 21st right now. Kai Collymore's in 27th. So he'll spread that gap out a little bit, but still every point matters. Just these guys.
Yeah, I mean,
Several
really.
other positions.
Yeah, I mean, really,
you
look
see
at
it right there.
Austin Walton's right there. He's within, 7 points as well. So currently, Austin is sitting in 12th. That's good for him. He's trying to gain on Jeff Ramsdell. Of course, Jeff Ramsdell is right now sitting back in 22nd. So, there's going to be some closing of those gaps pretty quickly. So it's incremental, but it all matters. Every single point matters.
Yep. You can pick up a couple stage points and a couple points on track on the guy that's in front of you, then all of a sudden you're up tied with him, or maybe even pulling ahead. So these guys are not going to give up anything.
Yeah, I think that's a benefit. I think for Kai Collymore, I believe he got some stage points.
Yeah, that'll help him.
Yeah. All right, 9 laps to go here. About to be 8. As Eric Lombard makes his way past start-finish line. 8 laps to go in the Brickyard 200 here at Indianapolis. As we are in the late stages of this race here. Oh, big move battle right now for Ed Sheeran, Keenan Shoddy. Ed Sheeran is door-to-door with the 45, making this late charge. Man, I thought he had him there for a second.
Yeah, I did too. There, tucks in behind him because he doesn't want to lose that little bit of a draft that he can get from him. Sometimes you pull out the pass like that, and one reason or another, you lose a little bit of momentum. But if he can stay tucked in behind him, then he'll live to try that again. Eric Lombard, though, the class of the field tonight, so far, he has led every lap, only 7 laps to go. And the battles have been behind him between some of these other guys in the top 5, top 7.
Yeah, solid night for the 58. He needs it.
That'll be the comeback story of the season if he can continue to run like this and get himself back up into a battle for the championship. Unfortunately for Josh Douglas and Kai Collymore, they are still in the pits. At this point, well, they could be battling each other for one position. That's about all they can do now. They can't lose anymore or gain anymore other than against each other. So it'll be interesting to see if one of them can get out of the pits. 6 to go now.
Yeah, Kai Collymore still has a meatball flag on his. He probably does not have the clearance to leave the pits. Unfortunately, damage to that car. Josh Douglas still in the pits.
And if they finish in the pits, then Josh Douglas will take the advantage because he's currently in front of Kai Collingmore on pit road.
Yeah. Just a couple drivers have retired for tonight. That's Matt Wheeler in the 10 and the 61 of Keith Fonseca called it a night after unfortunately getting collected in a couple incidents. Again, two drivers still in the pits. That's Douglas and Kai Collingmore. 27, 25 cars still running and 23 on the lead lap.
Yeah, and really unfortunate for Kai Collingmore because he is our biggest loser tonight, losing 23 spots due to the damage that car suffered. So really, really tough break for him tonight. He did not need that tonight, but he'll be back next week.
Yep, fight another day. Now Scott Thomas is he's a lap down, so if the caution were to fly with just 4 to go, he would get his lap back and rejoin the field on the lead lap. But again, we've just got four laps to go here at Indianapolis in the Brickyard 200 here in the iNRS Racing Series. As a reminder, again, we said it earlier that NASCAR has got next week off, and so as does the iNRS Racing Series. But if you're still interested in watching iRacing here on the IWM broadcast, tune in Wednesday for the IWM Cup Series. That will be their All-Star race, and we'll see them at Dover in the All-Star race on next Wednesday night. And then after that, we'll go back to racing. For that following week, we'll be at Iowa for the Iowa Corn 175 starting August 6th on Thursday night. And we'll be here at the Brickyard for, it's not going to be the Brickyard 200. I believe it's going to be the Balls Out Racing 200. That race will be sponsored by one of the race teams that regularly competes on Wednesday nights.
Yeah, there's a great shot right there, just showing that single file racing, and then really spread out. The first, what would it be, first 4 positions are 2 seconds out, over 2 seconds out.
Well, right now Eric Lombard is chasing that white flag. He is right now running down the backstretch, about to enter turn 3. If he can make it all the way around without an incident with anybody on track, he'll take the white flag here.
That's another advantage to this big of a track, is you don't have to fight traffic nearly as often.
Oh no, caution flies.
Oh my.
Eddie Musso goes around. 26 has got some damage on that right front. Just when we thought the white flag was going to fly, it's not.
Nope. Fortunately for our leaders, we did have a few cautions, so that has allowed them to save enough fuel that a green-white checker or 2 or 3 is not going to hurt them. But would have been nice to see this.
Let's go back to, I think, maybe Vince Burns here. Let's go back. Let's find Vince Burns. For some reason, this may have started. We're watching the 55 of Vince Burns here. Or we're trying to find the 55 of Vince Burns. That's the red car right behind the, there.
Yeah. I mean, he was on the straightaway, but boy, that back end just kicked out. I don't know if he had a little help there.
Looks like he may have had a little bit of contact there.
There, that's a great angle. Oh, yeah, he
There's a
gets up
bump.
into the back of, yep, and right there.
So there's a little bump in the back of the 42 of Tony Japs. Then he goes around, and the 26 as well pays for it. All here on the last lap. Second to last lap.
Eric Lombard did not want to see that. Now he's got Keenan Shoddy and Edward Shearer just foaming at the mouth, trying to get up to him. They said, we've got one more shot to get to him. Let's see if we can do it.
So you're telling me there's a chance?
That's right. Oh, great line from a great movie. Yeah, it's he definitely did not want to see that caution come out.
Well, and with a lot of race, especially with this track and others, there is so much of an advantage for the leader that we'll move probably to a green-white checker here. So that means that when that green flag flies, you're going to race one clean green lap all the way back, and then take that white flag, and then it's all over for the last lap. Number of drivers came in on the pit. Steve Tucker, Vince Burns, Eddie Musso Jr., Scott Thomas all came into the pits for service, as did Dakota Reeder, Grady Gherkin, and Tyro Lem. All taking a gamble, thinking there's something possibility, but for the most part, your top 10, no one came in. All right, it all sits in the hands of Eric Lombard. He holds his future there. Good restart, clean, with no issues. This race is his.
Yeah, he has proven himself on every restart of the night. So no reason to believe that it'll change, but you never know. It's not over till it's over.
All right, lights are off on the pace car as this field forms back up for hopefully what is the last restart of the night. 58 of Eric Lombard will bring this field into the restart zone, and then it's all up to him. He will cue this, and then if you're in the 45, you're Keenan Shoddy, you're in the outside there. Really, you've got to figure out just do you jump it? Do you try to anticipate what the 58's doing? You've seen him do this. You've been on the outside for 2 or 3 or 4 restarts. You got to figure something out. This is your only opportunity.
Yeah, that leader has such an advantage because he controls when the restart happens, and just gets that little bit of an edge. It's enough to propel him out into a lead. That second place car on the outside always hangs back just a little bit because he doesn't want to cross the line in front of the leader. So he hangs, but you can see right there, he's hanging back about a half a car length. And as soon as he sees that leader go, he'll mash the gas and he'll be right after him. But that leader has got that split second of a jump, and it makes all the difference in the world.
All right, pace car is leading this field out of turn 4. He will drop off and put this in the hands of Eric Lombard. Keenan Shoddy is right there. He's only about a foot off the nose. Green flag flies. Eric Lombard
able to do it again.
Yep, slides right up. Now the battle's behind. Oh, a little bit of contact. Oh, cars going around the back.
Flipping over in the back.
Not really sure who that is. That's
Yeah.
Mike Wheel. Mike Wheel winds up on his lid. 55 of Vince Burns is involved. Steve Tucker also involved as well. We're going to do this
Target
all
car.
over again. Yeah, it's one thing to do this on a half-mile short track, but on a 2.5-mile major speedway, these cautions take a while.
Yeah, they do. Almost, they're a little over 2 seconds each caution lap. So you figure
2 minutes.
usually 2 minutes, but four caution laps normally for every caution. That's 8 minutes. A lot of time to sit there in the car and think. Oh, you see, he gets tapped in the back.
Looks like that's the Tyler Lem car on the outside, the target car. He goes up wide and car is there. Hard hit into the
Oh,
wall.
wow. Yeah, I would say that car's probably done for the night.
Could be, yeah, absolutely. See, Vince Burns gets involved and he's winding off to the inside.
Yeah, that 89 target car's trying to keep it off the wall and really does pretty well. You can see him there getting the tires spinning, which just sends Mike Wheel spinning even further. It's so easy to look at this in slow motion and say, well, why didn't they do this or why didn't they do that? Well, it's because they were doing that at about 170 miles an hour.
All right.
Just a lot of cars coming into pit road.
Just peeking in. I think Lem is good for fuel, but well, Bombard may be in trouble here. Not a lot of gas left in that based on our calculations.
Yeah, that is surprising to me.
All of these drivers, they came in last at lap 51. So now this is 30. This is
really our second
laps.
green light checker.
Yeah.
So I'm guessing that Eric Bombard's trying to save as much as he can possibly save right at the moment.
Let's go on board. Let's cruise around in 5th gear.
How often do you see that that little box on the lower left that shows his position throughout the race? It's never moved. Just one long straight line.
Yeah, that's crazy. Those yellow dots that showing up on that line, those are cautions. And you can see that that orange circle with the 4 in it. Those are times when he came in and took tires, and you can tell it's been a long time since these drivers have been on pit road.
Yep. Yeah, you can see he's clutching it.
Yep.
You see the RPMs dip, and then all of a sudden they'll pop back up again. He's clutching it to try to save as much fuel as he can, but he's got to be a little bit nervous.
Well, lights are off on the pace car.
That'll make this restart interesting, because if he's too low on fuel, if he sputters on the restart, boy, it's game on at that point.
Well, I think everybody in the top 8 are all in the same condition. They're all probably trying to save fuel here because they all came in at lap 51.
Yeah, we're going to be, let's see, 89, 91. That's going to be 40 laps they will have gone.
Yeah, granted, a lot of this
On
is
this
is under caution here, so
Yeah.
but still, they're still burning fuel.
Yep. Going to be some big decisions here for these front runners.
Absolutely. All right. Field is right now in the short chute between turns 3 and 4, making their way into turn 4. Our drivers in the back trying to catch up to the field as Erica Bombard will do it one more time. Keenan Shoddy gets one more chance to try and figure this out, see if there's a possibility. Is there a chance? Right behind them, waiting to pounce, Jordan Wenzel and Eric Shearer waiting for it. Pace car drops off the racing surface. Erica Bombard leads the field and into the restart zone now, and we are underway. There he goes. Good jump. 45 moves down a little bit.
Good clean restart, just like we've seen all night.
A little bit of contact in the back by the 25 with the safer barrier. Turn 1, now turn 2, all clean. Field jockeying for position. This is a finishing field, so you want to, if you have an opportunity to grab a position, that means a point or more, take it. The Bombard leads the field out of 3. Onto the front stretch to try and make it back to the start finish and take the white flag.
It looks like he's able to do that. There we go. White flag flies. Next flag finishes the race.
Keenan Shoddy solidly in second. He's got Eric Shearer on his tail. Jordan Wenzel sitting back in fourth, and Lucas Portman in fifth. Good move for those drivers. Right now, the biggest mover of the race, maybe Jeff Ramsdell. He's up 13 positions. He may call for that hard charger, and he's had a heck of a night. Lots of incidents that he's been involved with. But here we go, out of turn 4. Erica Bombard leads this field. And wins the Brickyard 200 here at Indianapolis.
What an outstanding performance by that 58 Chevrolet of Eric Bombard. Just an amazing run.
Yep, solid finish. Guys are all hoping they got enough fuel to make it back around.
Yeah. Pole position, fastest lap, and he wins the race, which is going to advance his point position a little bit more, and he's inching his way back up. So great run for Eric Bombard tonight. Also for Keenan Shoddy and Edward Shear, 3 drivers that finish on the podium. Jordan Wenzel finishes in 4th spot. Lucas Gortman in 5th. Matt Parasini in 6th. Corey Bunch in 7th. Austin Walton in 8th. Jake Musso in 9th. And Garrett Walden in 10th.
Well, these drivers are making their way back around. Let me go back here. In 11th, Joe Torres. 12th is Dakota Reeder. 13th is Joe Musso. Grady Gherkin finishes in 14th with Brian Jones in 15th. Jeff Ramsdell in 16th. Steve Tucker in 17th. Vince Burns in 18th with Tony Japs in 19th. Tyro Lem finishes in 20th. Scott Thomas
21st.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
Sorry there. 21st, Scott Thomas. Eddie Musso Jr. in 22nd. Alec Daffin in 23rd. Those are the cars on the lead laps. Mike Wheel finishes 6 laps down in 24th. Corey Ennis, 25th. Kai Collymore, we talked about him quite a bit tonight, 26th. Josh Douglas in 27th, Keith Fonseca in 28th, and Matthew Wheeler in 29th.
Your Hard Charger award goes to Austin Walton. He picked up 14 spots. And everything else, you're won by your winner,
Yep.
Eric LeBombard.
And you're looking at him burn the tires off that thing now. Once again, a great look at that standing box in the lower left corner. Straight line. Never lost the lead all night long. You just don't see that too much anymore. Great run. Very dominating run by Eric LeBombard tonight.
Trying to get a little closer what he's how they get of our cameras are there to pick up what he's doing, except jumping in the car with them from our in-car camera. All right. Well, stay with us. We're expecting all three drivers here who finished on the podium to be joining us here in the booth.
Looks like they're starting to get ready here.
Yeah, I don't see Ed Shearer looking in the...
No, I don't see him either.
Nope, I see Eric and I see Keenan. Let's grab Keenan. If we have to find Ed, we'll find Ed. Let's grab him. Hey, Keenan, congratulations on your finish. We haven't seen Ed Shearer yet in Discord. If we grab him, we'll pull him back up. But congratulations on your P3 finish.
Thank
P2
you.
finish, sorry. Second place. Man, tell us a little bit about tonight.
It was it's hard to pass. It was just track position dependent, and like as soon as you got caught behind other cars, it was just you couldn't really run your line, and the car just handled so different. We started good, and then I tried to save a little bit. I felt like the tires went pretty quickly, so I tried to save some tire. That let a few people pass me just because they were really cooking it. But otherwise, I had a good pit stop. I passed two guys there, and then that's pretty much it. Just kind of maintained second for the rest of the race.
Yeah, it seems like the opportunity for picking up some spots was either on a restart or something that happens in the pits. Other than that, you're stuck.
Yeah.
Yeah, some of the best racing tonight was between you and Ed Shearer and those restarts at the end and some of those later laps in the second stage. You guys had a good battle going back there, especially on the restarts.
Yeah, fortunately for me, I feel like I practiced running that high line enough this week that I felt comfortable just kind of putting the pedal down and then kind of backing up the second corner to get a good run off. So, and that took his line away as well, getting out to the wall. So he had to kind of let off. So yeah, that actually worked out well for me. And each time I started on the outside, I was terrible on the restarts. He got underneath me every time. I just had to kind of focus and get around him in 1 and 2.
Well, you made it interesting for us by doing that.
Well, good.
Yeah, well, congratulations on that. Any shout outs tonight?
Yeah, shout out to my wife, my family, my mom, dad, my sister at home, and shout out to my sister's boyfriend and a good friend of our family. Jake Huber passed away last week in a car accident, so really sad. He was a weekly watcher, and he always supported me and the stream, so he will be missed.
Oh, sorry about that. Well, congratulations, and I guess you get the week off for next week.
I know, much needed.
Okay. All right, well, there's your second place finisher, Keenan Shada here at Indianapolis. Thanks again, Keenan. We'll see you in a few weeks.
Thank you, guys. See ya.
All right, with that, we'll move our third place finisher into the broadcast booth. This is Ed Shearer. Congratulations, Ed, on your podium finish.
Yeah, thanks. That was interesting to say the least. It was sketchy in the end, though.
Yeah. We've known it's a challenging track to pass on, but you certainly had your hands full between you and Keenan there and all those restarts.
Yeah, Keenan definitely was putting on a. It was just hard to pass in general. Like every run I would try to build, it's like I would get close enough, but it's just like you couldn't do anything with it because by the time you get close enough, you're already turning in for the next corner. So it was just basically hope the guy in front of you makes a mistake. And I mean, Keenan was pretty on it tonight, and same thing with Eric. I mean, Eric just dominated from the beginning. So, but I'm just glad honestly that we just kept it clean. I mean, I've been dying for a good run like that for a while, so just to get out with a 0x and, little scratches here and there, but I mean, it was a clean night overall.
Yeah, you
How
you finished where you started.
Yeah, I'll take that. I mean, it's good
how
points.
how
I
much
know.
were you trying to save fuel there towards the end? I know we're in the broadcast. We were talking about how we thought fuel wasn't going to be an issue because we had a few cautions, and then all of a sudden it was an issue.
Yeah, it got close. Once we got that yellow for the green white checker, and I'm like looking down at my calculator, and I'm like, oh man, if we get like another, I think I would have been out definitely if we had another one right there. I would have had a pit.
Gotcha. Well, congratulations on your P3 finish. Any shout outs tonight?
No, just shout you guys in the booth for putting on a good broadcast, and shout out to everybody at iNRS for putting on such a good league. I run both the O'Reilly series and the Cup series, and definitely a blast to run both. So it's definitely good to get out here with a good finish. And I don't know if we race next week or not, but if not, I kind of
Nope.
hope to enjoy it. No, we don't. All right,
No,
I'm
you
going
got
to Bahamas.
there you go. Take the week a week off, and we'll see you when you come back.
All right, thanks, boys. Appreciate it.
You got it. That's Ed Shearer finishing third here at Indianapolis. And with that, let's go ahead and grab your winner. Right now, your winner, Eric LeBombard, joins us here in the booth. Eric, you started on the pole, you led every lap, and you won the race. How about that?
Yeah, I can't say I can complain, I mean, can't get much more perfect than that, I mean, just most nervous I was on those final couple restarts.
Yeah,
Barely had enough fuel.
Oh, that's what we're thinking. We're thinking that you're although that they helped and you hurt because we extended those laps, but we figured your fuel pressure must have looking pretty sad.
Oh yeah, definitely. I had like 4.2 laps starting that final overtime, so I think I had enough for one more, but just it was sending me to flashbacks from Chicagoland when we had all those restarts. Those one worked in my favor, but this one I was just lucky to get just the one. I mean, I was already very shocked under green when they wrecked right when I was coming out of 4 to take the white flag naturally. I don't know where they wrecked for, but that was definitely shocking.
Yeah, they were. It was not a turn or two back, and all of a sudden we were ready to call the race and anoint you the winner, and then we didn't. So there's that.
Yeah.
Well, Eric, this puts you up to 6 wins, and you are just chipping away. We looked at it during the pre-race, and you're either 5 or 6 races down from everybody else that you're in the championship hunt with. You are picking your way back up there slowly but surely, and it won't be too long at this rate that you're going to be back up there in that top 3, pushing for a championship.
Yeah, I mean, I'd love to try to go for that regular season title. It's just very tough missing all those weeks, but it helps. I'm able to put together solid runs every week, and especially ones like this, put it on pole. Pole was the most shocking part. I'm not usually much of a qualifying guy here. I usually put it middle around the top 10. All my speed comes in the race, unlike certain people in here, Brian L. Jones. Not big qualifying guy, actually do good in the races. But yeah. Speaking of him, I would have loved to win the bracket here because clearly throughout the bracket I was the most dominant car throughout all the races, but he had other plans at Chicagoland, but I'm happy Jordan took it. Another deserving driver. He's, one of the best in here, so very happy he took it this week.
Absolutely. Well, congratulations on your win. And certainly here. Any shout outs tonight?
Want to shout out my 2 guys that were watching this, Matthew and Joey. They were, watching this whole thing. They must have been pretty bored, but still. And I want to shout out the Next Gen Dirty Air for just kind of coming in clutch this race and not really letting anyone get close to me. So, yeah.
All right. Well, there's your winner tonight, Eric LeBombard. takes the pole, takes the win, and continues to gain points here in the hunt for the chase here.
Yep, appreciate it.
You got it, Jeff. Any closing thoughts here?
Well, Indianapolis never disappoints. This race probably wasn't maybe as exciting as what we wanted to see with passing and a lot of give and take and that type of thing, but it was still a good race. There's something about racing at Indianapolis that gets the drivers' juices flowing, and everybody has a good time at it. And maybe some guys had more fun than others, but still an enjoyable race this evening.
Absolutely. All right, folks. Well, thank you so much for tuning in. And if you still are interested, click that subscribe button for our channel. We certainly would appreciate it. We'll be back on Wednesday of next week for the All-Star race in the IWM Cup Series. And as you heard us earlier, this series is on hiatus for the week, along with the rest of NASCAR. But we will be returning the week following. That will be on... gosh, do I have that calendar type correct? Hang on. I know it's in August. I know it's there. It's August 6th for the Iowa Corn 175 will be race 23 of the series. So for Jeff and myself, thank you so much for tuning in. We hope you have a blessed night, and we'll see you in a few weeks. Good night, folks.